Are you being smart and intentional through the college search and planning process? I think most people like to think so, but sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. And there's no judgment here, by the way, okay? But I want to just share a quick story. Over the last couple of weeks, I've had several meetings with families who have had the fortune of having enough money to be able to just pay for college without having to worry about it, right? In several of those cases, they had earned the money over time, had the discipline to save up. So now they could literally just write the check at whatever college their kid wants to go to and just be done, right? And still have enough money left so they can still live. Another family ended up inheriting that money, so they got there differently, but they had the same option if they wanted to. And I was speaking with these families. I basically laid out that they could just write the check if they really wanted to. All right. Now, obviously, I don't necessarily think that's the smartest play, but if you can, good for them. Like, it's a nice problem to have. And I think we would all be so lucky if we could just easily write that check and just be done with it. Okay. But as I was going through the different options, something that I really encouraged them to think about was that how they view this process, how they view money, how they view education for the child. Because obviously as parents, we want to try and do the best we can for our kids. Okay, no problem. And I totally understand that, right? But there's always a balance because not every family can write that check. And even if you were able to write that check, you may not want to. So I told these families, look, you want to really think about what's more important here. That bumper sticker and be able to say that your kid got into blah, blah, blah school, maybe like an Ivy League or near Ivy League. But you have to really think about, is it worth paying those sticker prices, which are in the 90s, or at one college in the United States, now it's over $100,000 for a sticker price? Or is it more important to get them an education, but maybe at a less expensive school, but you still have more money left over? Now, most of these families recognize how hard they had to work and the discipline it took to be able to save up that money. Good for them, right? That is just awesome. One family ended up inheriting the money, but they were also very appreciative of what their relative had left for them. Now, obviously, they were sad that their relative had passed away, but they were very appreciative that the relative had done this. And so they did not want to just waste the money or spend foolishly on anything because they understand what a gift it was. And I shouldn't say waste or anything like that because nobody views it that way, right? We want to do well by our children. We want to give them good opportunities and give them good choices. And so investing in their education isn't necessarily viewed as a waste, but they did not want to make a mistake or overspend if they had to. So what I told these families was that they really had to think about where they were on sort of the spectrum, right? Just don't worry about what it costs. Just get into the best name possible, get the bumper sticker, get the t-shirt, and off you go. Or do they want to be more financially aware because they recognize what it took to get that money? Okay, not that they're trying to take money away from the kid or deny their kid a good education, but they want to be a little bit smarter and more intentional about spending for college. Now, there was one family where I was telling them this, and you can see the wheels turn, and I could kind of tell based on my experience, that they were really leaning towards let's just get the bumper sticker, let's get the t-shirt no matter what it costs. And, if they make that choice, good for them. Good for them. But I reminded that family, as well as all the others, what does not happen ever is going to one of those top tier, low admissions rate schools, right? Like an Ivy League and near Ivy League, and begging for aid because you don't feel like paying that much money, right? Right? There's a difference between being able to do it versus wanting to do it. And so if you go say, listen, I'm a really rich family and I worked really hard for this money and I saved up or I inherited this money, but I just don't feel like paying you that much. So can you please charge me less by giving me a lot of aid? At these schools, you're going to get thrown out of their office, right? Proverbially, right? What a joke. They're not going to negotiate with you because, quite frankly, they don't have to. And I had to remind this one family that because I could tell that's what they were thinking. But I encourage you to think about where you are in this sort of spectrum, where you are, and being smart and intentional, right? Both ends are a decision. You can choose to say, look, I will pay whatever it takes to get my kid in that school, get the bumper sticker, get the t-shirt. There's no judgment there. Good for you. Or you can go the other way. But you got to figure out where you are first, right? Hope this helps. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.